The brand post creation works just like the product post creation would. I'm actually going to be showing you now how I get this created on my site, because for the site that I'm building in this training class, at least, I am doing brand pages and not product pages. But again, it really applies, or it just kind of determines which one is going to work better for your situation, for your niche. There are a lot of cases where you might have a ton of information that you could talk about for one product over another product within the same brand name. And they're a similar type of product too. But with these solid state drives, as an example, there's really not enough differences between the different kinds of products for me to say, okay, this is worth creating an entire page about it. I can create one page about the brand, and having to do specifically with this type of product, and then I can just have a couple of smaller sections within this page that address each of the individual products that I want to promote. So using my Samsung article here as an example once again, to start, I create a title for my post. This title is my brand name, but also in combination with a type of product. Most large companies will be creating and selling more than one kind of product. So you don't want your whole page to be about the brand as a whole. You want it to relate to that specific type of product. So for me, this is Samsung internal solid state drives. There are other kinds of solid state drives. There are actually external portable solid state drives that I'm not covering on my site whatsoever. So with that said, I don't want the title of my page to draw traffic in that might be looking for information on the products that I'm not going to be covering on my site. This is all about targeting. This is about bringing the right people into your site and connecting them to the correct products. Now, once again, you want to simplify whatever kind of a URL WordPress will end up making for this page for you. For me, this is going to be my brand only. So I'm going to shorten my URL to say nothing but Samsung, because on this site, I'm not going to have another page about Samsung. This is going to be the only one. And my whole site, as at least in general, is all about internal solid state drives specifically. So I don't need to keep rehashing that kind of stuff throughout my URL on a whole bunch of different pages, for example. Whatever the important part of it is, and with this kind of post, it would be the brand name. So that's what my simplified URL will be. Now, as far as the content that you write, I have also kind of talked about this. I'll just briefly go through it here, and then you'll get to see me actually put this into action on my live website. Well, to start with, I have a brand summary. This can be a lot of different things, really. It can be stuff like basic company information, founding dates, leaders of the company, locations that might be important to the company. Google knows about all this kind of stuff. When you type in the name Samsung, I guarantee you that it has semantic words listed for these different things, the places where the company exists, the leaders of the company, all the way down to the products that the company sells. So anytime you can include some of this extra stuff, you can give your page a little bit of a bump in terms of relevancy for your topic. On top of that, you still want to make sure you're being useful though. Don't just rehash a bunch of basic information for them that's really not going to have a lot of meaning. Relate this information to what the whole message of your site is really about. Whatever you're really trying to help them with, figure out what of that company information actually relates to that. For Samsung, they're really a leader in this technology for solid state drives. They may not be the first company that came out with a solid state drive. However, they've kind of been leading the pack for a long time. And this especially has to do with stuff like technology advancements. They also manufacture everything themselves. All the components for their solid state drives are all manufactured by Samsung or Samsung-owned companies. So they're not outsourcing their manufacturing work to China, for example. They're actually making the stuff themselves. This gives them a certain level of quality control that you really don't get with a lot of the cheaper brands that are simply outsourcing and having somebody overseas make these different components for them. They all get shipped to them, and then they're just simply slapped together in a warehouse. Well, that's not how Samsung operates. And so this kind of information that relates to the company is what I personally found to be important to my website visitors. You also have the niche product summary, where this is essentially what I have done in all of these different sections below it, where I talk about very specific kinds of situations relating to this product that are, again, going to be important to the people that are reading my site. And finally, I have my product summaries, where the actual products that I want to promote, I have a title and also a summary that goes along with them. In a lot of cases, I will include some basic technical information or specs for the product there, as long as that information is relevant to my readers. And then I will also usually end this with some kind of a call to action. For example, here I have shop for the Samsung A50 Pro on Amazon for the best price. Well, I can take these text links or these call to actions and turn them into text links, where this can be an affiliate link for me. But in addition to that, I also end up adding an advertisement to go along with it. This is something that I will be showing you here as today's class progresses. So now for my actual post creation. Anytime you're going to be creating a brand or a product post, you simply go to Posts and Add New within WordPress. And ultimately, anything that you have created a category for, and also then a main category page on your site for, you can simply link that content up to those areas by just checking on the appropriate category box. Now, as far as my content, I simply take my title and add it in. You can see after a couple of seconds here how my title is then turned into a URL automatically. I mentioned before, though, that I want to simplify this to just my brand name only. If I was doing the product I would then simplify this likely to just the product name, maybe even the model of it. In a lot of cases, I would not end up including the brand name for that. For the remainder of my content here, I can simply select everything that I have in my article, and I can paste it into my page. Sorry, I have to undo that one time. For the purposes of showing it in the video here, it's a lot easier to see the content if I have word wrap turned on. This is something I've also mentioned to you guys in the previous class, where having that word wrap can actually end up distorting your text content. So you do want to make sure that is pasted in correctly. Once you have your text content in, you can then start formatting it just like you would any other page that you've built on your site so far. So there's really no need to go into a lot of detail about this part. This is something we've done in the previous class, where we have our different headers and we are simply making them bold throughout our page. Now for the actual product here, when you get down into your product review sections, you can choose to do your titles just like you would the header of any other section throughout this page. And in a lot of ways, this does help it to actually blend in with the rest of your content. However, you can choose to do essentially what we did with our homepage, where we made a section of text here. And we had this text and also text down at the bottom turned into a link that proceeded on to a different section of our site. Well, you can do the same kind of thing with a brand page, except this link and this link and this link actually end up being affiliate links instead of links that go to different parts of your site. For now, though, I'm just going to set these as bold text and also tidy up just a couple of other minor areas in my content. For example, my capacity choices here. Beyond this, though, what's really going to end up being important with this page will come when I add in my advertising to it. However, before you actually go through and complete publishing on a page, you do still want to do your standard stuff like your SEO settings, where you're providing a title and a meta description. This again should be geared towards trying to get people to actually click on your listing. You can use the title that you have used from your page already. If you do want to try to make it a little more descriptive, it is okay to expand on it, at least to a certain degree. But I usually just end up using my same title like I do with all of my other pages that I create. My description, though, is what I'm really kind of custom crafting for this page, where I want a summary of the page, but I also want something appealing in there that's going to help me to attract search engine visitors, where they will see this description in the search results, and it will be appealing to them to make them actually want to click on that result. So I don't just want to have a basic, boring kind of a summary here where I'm just like, read our review on Samsung internal solid state drives and blah, blah, blah. I want to give them more information about what all of that useful in-depth content is that is contained on this page. Because if they don't know it's there, they may never even get to my page in the first place to see it. So I want to talk about, with this page, for example, my personal connection that I have made with this particular brand and this particular product. The fact that I use it myself, that I use it for not only personal purposes, but also professional work purposes. And also that I put a lot of research and time into essentially trying to figure out what it is that I wanted for myself, and so I can help pass this information along to my readers too. So for here, I could say something to the effect of, take a look at the personal experiences with Samsung SSDs. I could even change my wording around a little bit and say solid state drives instead. This again giving me different keywords that I can draw upon. From a consumer that depends on his PC to be reliable long term. Definitely a lot more appealing and personal than something just pretty straightforward, read these reviews kind of stuff. Now, one of the last things that I need to worry about on this page, and for any product or brand page for that matter, because we are connecting this up with the category system here, and we're going to have these posts automatically listed on those category pages, we also want to be setting a featured image to go along with it. Let me add this extra stuff over here to the social networks listing, and then I'll proceed on with my featured image. So now for this one, actually I already have my featured image in the system where I've already uploaded it. Otherwise, you would just want to go to upload first, upload your picture, and then you can set it as the featured image of your post. So now when this gets displayed on my advertising page, it's actually going to have the picture and the title and even an excerpt from the content itself. Now, just like I did with the info pages, you can set your own custom excerpt to go along with these product and or brand pages that you create. And this, once again, will help to customize the text that you actually have on your category page. Now, this is my solid state drive brand category page that I created. I got all of this set up in a previous class, but there was really one main part that I still needed to do, and that is to set the template. This works just like we did with the info category. First, we change this to say page with post. Then we go down below into the settings for the page with post template. And under category, we're simply providing the category that represents that section of our site. So we look for the slug here for the solid state drive brands, for my category at least. I copy this slug, and that slug is going into my category box right here. So now this simply allows for this page to get populated automatically. So now when I go back to my page, I can see the Samsung brand page that I just created is automatically connected to it. The text that is here is coming from the beginning of that post content right up here at the top. Again, if I wanted to customize what that little preview description was, and it can be a good idea to do this for the sake of SEO, I simply would be setting my excerpt right here, and that would replace that information on my main category page. So now when it comes to this individual page, I have a lot of content on it, but ultimately I have nothing here still that is going to help me to refer Amazon sales. And that's really the next part of tonight's training, is getting into how we create these advertisements, how we insert them on our site, and how to get this entire site finished up in terms of making sure everything is connected properly.